Welcome back to the channel. This is Andrew, running with Dr. Andrew. I'd like to share with you 5 top things I wish I would have known before running a marathon. Alright guys, let's get started. Alright, the first thing I like to share with you is with marathon running. I have been running marathons since 2018, and the first time I ran a marathon, it was not the very pretty sight. Did not know what I was getting into. I had ran several half marathons, and those half marathons did pretty well in them. I was able to at least get my time pretty close to under 2 hours. And getting a little faster, quicker with them. So I thought I could transition to marathons pretty quickly. So training for them was a little bit more experimental for me. So I did not know really how to train for a marathon. So the first thing I wish I would have known was being consistent. I wasn't on a consistent basis of running, and not necessarily running hard. And sometimes that's what would happen is I would run hard, in a training run, and then I would not be able to run the next day. I was so sore from running too hard, and then the next day I wasn't able to run. So definitely, whenever you're running and training for these, doing slow, easy miles, majority of your runs, about 80% of it, is very important, and you're going to get your endurance. Remember, you're trying to build your aerobic base. And so you're running slow for long periods of time is what you're going to be doing for this marathon. So you have to kind of decrease your pace, especially the first time you run a marathon. You may be just wanting to complete the marathon, and so definitely running those consistent miles over and over again is very important. So that way you're not burning your legs out. So every time every run you run, you can't just run as fast as you can. You have to be able to run a little bit slower there, especially like it's the first time you run a marathon. So number 2, with a marathon racing, taking off too fast too quickly. Right off the bat, the first marathon I ran as fast, pretty quickly I was going to get it under 4 hours, and I did a half marathon under 2 hours, and I was right on pace until I hit the wall. Around mile 16 or 17 is whenever I hit the wall. I was not feeling too good. My legs were cramping, and then eventually that 4-hour pace group passed me, and then I had to jog for pretty much the rest of the time for about 10 miles at mile 16. So definitely it was very painful moment, but definitely very learning experience for the next time I ran a marathon, of how I was going to train for that. And so definitely taking off too fast too quickly is definitely not recommended. And sometimes you might take off a little too fast at first because of adrenaline. You're going to go a little quicker. But then make sure you get back to the pacing that you want to get within at least that half mile or so. Sometimes the excitement, depending on where you're at, if you're at a big marathon like New York City Marathon or Boston, and you're really going at it, you've got all the excitement. So definitely that that excitement may kind of increase the adrenaline. You may go a little quicker, but just make sure you get down to the pace that you train for, which is important because you've got 26.2 miles to go. And making sure that you feel properly. I feel like I didn't feel properly, and it was too late. By the time I got to mile 16, I didn't take enough fluids, and I was taking off too quick, so I was burning too much glucose and not really keeping up. And so definitely I think that's important to make sure that you plan and practice your fueling during your training runs, especially long runs. That's usually whenever I practice my fueling, is during long runs. Make sure that you are practicing what type of flavors and what type of goos that you have, and make sure that what race you're racing, what type of fuel that they are providing, what flavors, so that way you can go and buy those and practice those too, so that we don't have any upset stomach and there's no surprises during the race. And so that's definitely number 3, is definitely proper fueling and proper hydration as well too. So I practice hydration every 2 miles. I'm taking in some sort of electrolyte or some sort of water, depending on how hot it is. If it's a little hotter, I take in some electrolytes type of drink. This Gatorade, or there's Tailwind or something like that, to kind of help replenish those electrolytes, because you're going to be, especially here in Arkansas where I live, or if you live somewhere that's really humid like Florida, you're going to be really sweating quite a bit, especially in the summertime, and that's going to deplete your electrolytes, which is very important. Potassium, sodium, and all those things are important for muscle and nerve activity, and you need all those ions, those minerals to help with muscle function, is what we want there. Number 4 is, I think, a very important one, which I can't believe I neglected over the years of running. I've been running distance runs since I was in my 30s. And so I've never really did a lot of strength training. I just went out and ran. And now I'm starting to incorporate a lot of strength training. I see a difference in how I am running and how efficient I'm running, and also picking up some speed because of strength training. I think definitely, and I'm having a lot more fun running too, just because I'm able to get out and run without any injuries. Now it doesn't really guarantee that you won't have injuries, but definitely it may prevent you from having injuries, and you're going to have a lot more fun if you spend some more time doing some strength training. Strength training, you can kind of partake in it, or you can think of it as just another run, something how it's going to help improve your run the next day. And it doesn't have to be a whole lot. Usually whenever I strength train 4 times a week, I do at least 15 to 20 minutes each time I strength train. And so the 5th thing I wish I would have known, and I don't know why I did this, is I wear the proper shoes with this. Make sure that you don't have a lot of mileage in those shoes. You don't want to be brand new shoes, but definitely you don't want to have old, wore out shoes just like this right here. This is the shoe that I wore back in 2018. This is actually Adrenaline, Brooks Adrenaline. It's a stability shoe, and it is a pretty worn out shoe. You can see how really wore out the toe there. Whenever I ran, I could really feel the pavement on that big toe, and I can't believe I wore this running a marathon. That's incredible there too. So wasn't really injured. It didn't have any pain from this, but I wish I would have had some better shoes that would have made the experience a little bit better there, other than having this old wore out shirt. And this is a really good stability shoe. I forgot really how stable the Adrenaline, Brooks Adrenaline are. So good shoe to run in. So I've ran in it twice before, 2 other times before in that shoe. All right, guys, there's probably many more topics I can do on this, and many more things I wish I would have known. Running a marathon, maybe we'll do another video on this at some point. And let me know in the comments, what things have you learned from a marathon, or are you about to run your first marathon? I would like to know. And hopefully maybe this will help you out in your training. I know people are training for the marathons now because of fall marathons. And so let me know in the comments, so that way we can help each other and learn from each other to get better in this sport and have a lot more fun there. All right, guys, keep safe, keep running, and we'll see you next time.